everybody. We're going to give this another whirl. My name is Rick, and I'm the district manager for Eye Hortilux. I want to thank Grow Green Michigan for having us here today. Today I'm going to talk about the new horticulture lighting systems that we've introduced over this past year. We're going to start off with our SE600 grow light system, which was the very first one. As the name 600 might indicate, it is a 600-watt system. It is an all-in-one system, meaning that you can just pull it out of the box, screw the lamp in, hang it up, plug it in, and it's ready to go. This system is 120 and 240 compatible. It does come with both cords. It's a very compact system height-wise, making it perfect for lower 7-foot, 8-foot ceilings. It is 7.1 inches tall and about just under 2 feet long from the fixture, and the ballast is another 12 inches. That doesn't sound right. I think the whole unit is 23 inches long. Okay? This system comes featured with our brand new ceramic HPS lamp, and I'll go into more detail about that in a moment. The system will give you a 3x3 footprint a 4x4 footprint at 3 feet over the canopy, which means that you would have enough space for 6 to 9 plants in the vegetative state, and probably 3 to 4 once they've gone into flower. If you're going to be using them in series, we would recommend putting them 4 feet off center. And when we say 4 feet off center, it's not from the edge of the fixture to the next edge. It's measuring from the center of the arc tube of the lamp to the next center of the arc tube of the lamp of the next fixture. So there's 4 feet in between the light sources, not just the reflectors. Our reflector design is something we're very proud of. It is known for putting more light on target with a better distribution. And I'll get a little bit more into that when I talk about my 315 ceramic metal halide. These are the basic metrics when you compare a reflector that is designed for the lamp as opposed to a one-size-fit-all. Yesteryear, they used these large reflectors, the triple magnum XLs and so forth, and they were great for spreading light over an entire room, but on the other hand, it also wasted a lot of light. So we're saying no longer do you have to worry about lighting the walls or the floor, let's just put the light on the plant. And you can see the differences with the metrics by using the same lamp in 2 different reflectors and how it affects those metrics. This system will also power our 600-watt blue, which is Hortilux's best full-spectrum lamp and what we consider to also be our best veg lamp. It has an amazing sunlight-like spectrum, and as you can see in our growth chart, it is absolutely best for veg, really do a pretty good job for flower, especially on oil content. And we do recommend it as a very good start to finish lamp. But the lamp that it comes with, the one that it features, the one that we're most proud of, is the lamp we introduced this year. In a market when other companies are moving away from HID, Hortilux is still developing and trying to get more out of a very proven technology. And this creates this spectrum right here, which is an absolutely amazing far red spectrum, specialized for the flower growth, the flower cycle of the plant, while still maintaining higher levels of blue than any other HPS lamp on the market. And yes, this is an HPS lamp. It is using some of the same technologies for pushing spectrum as ceramic metal halide, but it operates on an HPS operating system. And when you look at the arc tube, let me go back a slide or two. When you look at the arc tube, you can clearly see that it is an HPS style arc tube, albeit a little bit shorter and a little bit fatter. But it is the same material, the same ceramic material of traditional HPS arc tubes, hence the name ceramic HPS. And it also just puts out that amazing red spectrum, which will do just incredible things to your flowers at the later stages of the cycle, mimicking the sun for what it gets outside. The system can also power our standard HPS. And of course, our standard HPS has been the standard, and it used to be our super HPS, but now with the new ceramic HPS, it's almost become our standard, but it is super HPS, enhanced spectrum, 25% more blue, 17% more overall energy than virtually any other HPS lamp on the market, whether you're comparing 600s to 600s, thousands to thousands, 400 to 400. Now, this is something that is very interesting. This is a test that a medical grower in Colorado did for us as a favor. He was traditionally using 2 double-ended 750 lamps combined with a 315 ceramic metal halide, which is a very good spectrum, and he used it to help round out the deficit of the blue in double-ended lamps. And it's a technique that a lot of growers are using, mixing lamps. He compared it to our SE600s. I am told that all the systems were brand new out of the box, side by side in adjacent tents or rooms. The exact same nutrient schedule, watering schedule, everything else. The only thing different were the light sources. And I think you could see when you look up here versus over here, the dramatic differences that just a better spectrum, that far red, is doing to the quality of the plants. 24.6. 15.8. This particular grow was totally amazed, and of course they're planning on switching over as they start to upgrade equipment in their rooms. They'll be moving over to this to provide a much higher quality of product to their customer base and to their patients. Okay, this is the basic metric. So as far as the amperage, we always recommend 240 volts if you can do it. Look at the difference of the amperage when run 120 versus 240. You almost saved half. Okay? The ballast run cooler, you get less heat in the garden as well. Okay? Weight-wise, 17 pounds. Any other questions on our SE600? Good? Okay. We'll go to the next one. This is our ceramic 315, or ceramic metal halide 315 system. And it looks like this. Very compact. And of course, it comes with our brand new ceramic metal halide lamp, made in the USA. Very compact, one of the most compact vertical 315 systems in the market at just over 10.5 inches high. Perfect for the low ceilings in the basements. This will give you that 3x3 footprint over a 3 foot over your canopy. 3 feet in between, off center if you're going to be doing them in a row. Once again, our superior reflector design for more light on target. In this picture really sheds a light on what we're doing with reflectivity. You look at the top picture, and it's a very, very smooth light output. The bottom picture, this system right here, was the top-selling 315 system in the hobby market the year that we designed our 315. You can clearly see our system up here, but there's no outline of the system on down here. Look, there, 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 there. The entire outline of the reflector. This particular reflector also had mirrored-like corners. And I'm going to go back a page, just Well, there we go. Well, the way that reflector was, here in the corners, here, there, and here were mirrored. The flat sides were pebbled. Okay. You can also see the X. There's a line there, a line there. Those are hot spots, which cause the plants that are directly underneath it to grow faster than the surrounding plants, creating Christmas trees, or you don't raise the light and the tips burn, or you have to cut them, or use another technique by pinning the tops of the plant down to prevent burning the tops of the plant. Yet, if you grew underneath this with a very even, smooth output, you grow a round bush. Better yield, better use, more efficient use of your light sources. And I will tell you, I mentioned that the pattern was a 3x3. This is a 5x5 table. So each of those dots is 6 inches. So go in a foot on each side, and it's even more dramatic. And by the way, each of those dots is how we came up with our reflector, because we did a complete light analysis, dot by dot, by hand, very painstakingly over a period of time, and did a complete spectral analysis as well as photon count. And one of the most interesting things that we came up with was not all light bounces the same. Blue photons, red photons, green photons, yellow, orange, whatever. They all have slightly different densities, they move at slightly different speeds, and they bounce differently. So our engineers at the factory, and remember, we make this stuff, we just don't buy it. With that information, they could feed it all into a computer, do light simulations, design the reflector on the computer, see what happens, build it in real life, test it, refine it, and this is the result. There's no other reflector on the market that does this. It is the most even, most uniform light available. Our lamp, of course, is made by us as well. And the biggest thing to note about this is 50% more ultraviolet. Why do we want ultraviolet? Ultraviolet is what the plants receive naturally outdoors. It helps with the defense mechanisms, stronger branches, stronger trunks of the plant, better root systems. In the flowering stages, UV helps with colors, flavors, oil production. And ours has 50% more than the competition. You don't believe me? Take a look at a Philips Unuccio 315 lamp, and right on the base it'll say UV block, because it was originally designed for human environments. Ours is a pure horticulture 315 lamp. This is the spectrum, and you can see the increased UV amounts down below 350, getting close to UVB. And that is clearly 50% more than all other 315 lamps in the marketplace. This is the metrics for this system. Again, 120 and 240 compatible, like our SE600. Both cords are included. And again, you can see again about the amperage. You run it to 240, you save. Less heat, less electricity. Better results. Everything seems to work a little bit better. They aren't working as hard. Okay? Any questions on our 315 system? Okay, we're going to go on to the technology and the buzzword that everybody talks about, LED. Well, Hortilux is in the LED business too. You may have seen it burning in my booth inside the store. They also have one on display. It is a full spectrum LED system, primarily designed for veg. and we'll get into that. It is a very compact system. It's only about 3.5 inches tall, about 5 inches with the eye hook. There we go, 5 inches right there. Okay, 18 inches in diameter, 240 watts from the wall. Okay, this is the spectrum, and I'm telling you right now, it's a veg spectrum. We contracted with a Michigan caregiver who did some grow tests for us, and this spectrum, out of 8 to 10 different spectrums that we sent him, consistently did better than all other spectrums. What do you notice that's unique about this veg spectrum to what you've been led to believe about veg spectrums? We have more red than blue. Well, that's because outside there's always a little bit more red than blue. Okay? But we also, it's headquartered right at the 660 range. And one of the things we learned is that 660 nanometer range, getting very close to far red, is extremely beneficial to the plants all the way through, start to finish, just like ultraviolet. And also what we're finding beyond 700, because again, for a veg lamp, we put in a 730 chip specifically to bring some far red. Most other LED companies aren't doing that. They're concentrating on the PAR range. Well, we know that it's more than just PAR that grows plants. Okay? This will give you a nice 3x3 at 18 inches over the plant. And we recommend it as a replacement for an 8-lamp T5 would be your best bet for usage in a home garden situation. You'll get similar footage. 3x3 is 9 square feet. 8 light T5s are 2 feet by 4 feet for 8 square feet. So you get very similar coverage, almost half the electricity, and better results. It's one of the areas where LEDs really have fulfilled the promise of less electricity, less energy for the same results. It's not quite the same when you get the flower. You need higher rates of energy for the flower production. The metrics, once again, this is a 120 only system and only draws 2 amps. Are there any questions about my LED system? Okay, my last presentation is going to be with my Power Veg T5s. Now this is only a lamp replacement system we have for standard 54 watt HO T5s. This, if you're using, does anybody here use standard T5s in their veg area, in their garden? Anybody? Did you use them in the past? What do you guys veg with? What are you guys, you're just thinking about starting a garden. Okay, what about you folks? Using a metal halide. What about for your propagation? You're also using, okay, so you're using a little bit higher intensity light, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's so many different techniques. And this is, when you're growing indoors and trying to replicate the nature, in many ways there's different ways of skinning a cat. And again, it's just understanding the tools you're using so you can use them to the best effect. Okay, well, a lot of folks, in order to save energy, will use the very early veg and sometimes all the way through to flower with T5s. Okay, there's usually enough energy. Let's go into, okay, the spectrum over here is a standard T5. This is my Power Veg, okay? You'll look at my Power Veg, you'll see it's considerably different. Here we have hole here, and a hole there, and a hole there, huge peaks, no UV. We have a lot of UV and no holes, just a nice, smooth, full spectrum, okay? So when we first introduced this product 3 years ago, we were telling people, blend these 50%, 50%. In an 8-light fixture, just take out 4 and put 4 of ours in and see amazing results, primarily from the UV, plus our spectrum here fills in there where you're missing, fills in there where you're missing, fills in there, adds here, gives you some far red. So the blend works very, very, very well, and I highly recommend it. T5s are a very forgiving way to grow, especially for beginners. It's hard to burn a plant with T5s. It's hard to burn yourself with T5s. You can easily burn yourself in your plants with HID. Okay? Very forgiving way to grow. Okay? But then we said, we could do even better. Okay? Oh, okay. What's in the box? What's not? It's been a while since I've done this presentation. Okay. So why ultraviolet? Somebody was asking me about ultraviolet before. So here we go. Plants receive it in their natural environment, triggers the defense mechanisms, stronger roots, promotes photosynthesis, stronger, healthier plants, higher quality growth, vivid colors, better tasting, faster cloning, easier transition from indoor to outdoor growing, if that's what you're doing. Even your vegetable gardens and your flower beds. You do them inside and set them underneath standard T5s, do them underneath mine, and they have a much easier transition. Why? Because you're closer to the outside. You don't get the shock of the UV. Okay? So, how do we do better than that? Well, we start honing in on specific wavelengths and get rid of the standard T5s and then start building on a spectrum specific to a cycle of a plant, such as a veg spectrum. You still in the 8 light T5, so we'll still use half or 50% of my FSUV, but then you put in 2 of my 420s, 2 of my 460s, okay? And then watch this. All of a sudden, that would be your veg spectrum. Concentrating in the blue area, keeping the plants very, very compact. That's very important if you're doing a vertical grow with multiple shelves. You don't want the plants to grow too tall. You want to keep that stretch short, but still grow the plants. So pounding out the blues will help do that, okay? We could also do a flower spectrum. You take that same 50% FSUV, give all the proper ultraviolet that you need. You add in, my 633 and my 660, and then you get my flower spectrum. Still, all the UV you need. Plenty of blue, but we're pounding out the reds to help push the plants to for bigger flower and more flower. However, if you like to keep things simple, or you believe in not just going from a actually, I'm going to go back. This is almost like oh, that's flower. Hold on. Okay, this is what I want to go. Okay, that's almost like a spring spectrum. Okay, what I was just doing with the flower, that's an autumn spectrum. So how about a summer spectrum? Those are the ones you use when you want to do something start to finish. One spectrum all the way through, you'll choose a midsummer sun spectrum. Okay? And so that would be this. Again, you start off 50% of the FSUV, but now you put in 1 420, 1 460, 1 633, and 1 660, and you get this. A nice balanced spectrum with lots of UV, a balanced blue-red, nothing missing in the middle, a little bit of a dip, but a nice peak there to balance, and that's lumens. It really doesn't make a difference if it's a 520, 540, 560. They all pretty much react to the plant pretty much the same, but you're getting the blues that you need, you're getting the reds, you're getting the far red. So for a beginner, this might be a very nice way to start. And we have this set up. If you go over to the lighting area, they have one of these shown already lit up. And the colors are bright blue, deep purple, red, and peach. It's not like kinda, it is. Because you look back at the spectrums, we're not producing anything but a blue. This one's like a violet. This one's like a tealish blue. This one's peach because it has some orange in it. This one's deep red because it's almost all red. We're not producing really any other part of the spectrum, so the output of the lamp has to be what it is. And it's really quite, I really suggest taking a look at it. So that is my power veg. And as you can see here, when you grab my catalogs, we show you the formulas right in the catalog, and we have both 4-light and 8-light formulas for you. So if you're starting off with just a little 4-lamper, we show you exactly how to do it. Okay? Here are a couple plants that were grown underneath Power Veg to show what ultraviolet has done. This was done at a store that's a customer of ours near our plant, and he absolutely loved it. This guy enters all the contests for African violets and the various exotic plants. He has a wall full of ribbons. You know, Marco Chinera. Okay? So what he's told me was, when you look at this jade plant, the old growth down here, there's no red edging on the petals. You look at the new growth that happened after he put it in the Power Veg, and they all have the red edging, as he told me they're supposed to have in their natural environment. It's the UV that brings it out. So if you have a jade plant at home, and you take it out on the porch in the summer and bring it in the winter, you go home and expect it. You're going to have layers. There'll be a layer that'll have red striping and a layer that won't, and a layer that will and a layer that won't. Okay? This is an African violet, which is his favorite plant to grow. He has a wall full of ribbons. And what he told me was that the striping in the flowers, he said, when you're grown indoors, that extra white doesn't seem to come out. The flowers are almost always purple. It again, depending on the variety and the color of the flowers. He said this striping that he saw here was the closest he's ever seen to African violets grown indoors. Now, you know, in my print on this photo, you look down below, you also start to see buds forming down below. And that was one of the other. He said, if you grow African violets and you get 3 or 4 flowers, you've done really, really good. And you count them here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they say, and you're looking for the other buds when you get up close. There's like 8, 10, 12. He goes, it's almost unheard of. So he's continuing to win ribbons when he goes to the shows, and he continues to help his customers and his stores understand the benefits of ultraviolet, because it's just what we're doing. Remember, what we are doing when we go from outside to growing indoors. Let's think about that for a second. We are growing indoors with the absence of natural light. Another word for that is controlled environmental agriculture, where we are controlling all aspects of the environment to the plants. God, so to speak. Okay? So the closer you get to that outdoor environment, the greater the chances of your success, and the greater the chance for your plants to have high quality. And I always suggest, if you have friends that are experienced growers, they're going to start telling you all kinds of tricks, ways to trick the plants to do this, to do that. And they're right, you can do that. But if you're a beginner grower, learn how to grow the plants naturally. Understand the plant. I'll get to you, I promise. And learn step by step what overwatering does or over-fertilizing does. Under-fertilizing, underwater, too much light, not enough light. The light's too close to the plants, not close enough. Learn all that. That way you can spot things with your eyes when things aren't going right and correct them early. Also, when you go to make corrections or changes, if you're a new grower, even if you're an experienced grower, one at a time. You change one aspect of the garden at a time, and you wait to see the results. You do 3 things, something happens. Something good, something bad. Which one did which? You got to go back to ground zero. Start over again. How many? One at a time. And I'll also leave you, with when it comes to lighting, there's so many different opinions. Some folks say, oh, lighting's not all that important, it's nutrients. I guarantee you, I know every single one of these nutrient reps are in every one of these tents out here. And I know if you were to ask them, I just don't want to spend money on good lights. Okay, will your nutrients fix my bad light? I'd rather just put money into newts. They'll say, sure, man, buy all the newts you want, man. Go at it. But in reality, if you really ask them, they're going to say, no, man, it begins with the light. Okay? And once you have good, strong light and the right light and you got the growth, then the nutrients matter. Absolutely. But not before the light. So if you're not getting the results you're looking for, the very first thing to look at is your light source. How old are the lamps? Yes, you need to replace them about once a year. Some folks do it more often. The light degrades. The spectral quality that you pay for starts to degrade, like the soles on your shoe, your tires, your tread on your tires in your car. It happens so slowly, you'll notice the car getting slipperier because it happens so slowly. So it's the same thing with the spectrum. It degrades so slowly, you forget that the last grow was growing faster unless you take very careful notes. Okay? So, replace the lamps, clean the reflectors after every time you change the lamps, and you'll be well on your way to be having success in your indoor gardens. Any questions from anybody? Nope. Okay. Hey, thank you very much. I'll be at my booth for the rest of the day. I'd like to thank Tony here at Grow Green, Michigan. He puts on the best customer appreciation day in the state, bar none. Thank you, Tony.
Great partners like you, Rick.
Oh, boy, he's laying it on thick.
All right, can we do the last of the raffles, Rick?
Okay, thank you very much, folks.